All right, welcome to the good stuff. It's the big episode 38, which we know because we're professional.
We just
and not
looked it
because, like, about 2 milliseconds before I hit the button, and he said, what episode is it?
Hey, I'm remembering, I'm
big,
learning.
The big episode 38. We've never been
Disorganized.
to an episode number this high. That's what I was going to go.
That's also true. Yeah, we're closing in on the big 40 as
Yeah.
well. As am
Oh,
I.
yeah, the big one. Oh, yeah.
As am I this
Well, I
year,
passed
next
that.
year. Yeah.
I passed that while, so
Yeah.
it's okay. It's fine.
You get over it.
You do.
I don't know. I feel like I've got 6 months. So I'm good. The panic hasn't quite set in yet.
Prime midlife crisis.
Yeah.
Like, you can get a van.
If I turn up on a motorcycle,
No, you
That's
just you get a minibus.
yeah,
Minibus. And you
Minibus.
deck it out in a van and you
Well.
start a podcast. Like,
but the motorcycle would be red. So,
okay, well that's good.
so yeah, if you see that,
Be
you
appropriately
know.
Christmassy.
just check
in that time
in,
of
do
year.
the intervention, get all that stuff booked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. So we had a plan for today
we do. This is
So,
our most organized episode ever, actually.
because I texted you like the day before.
Yeah.
So I think it was like yesterday. I was making a new meme for Nostr, which
Yep.
was the orange jacket guy. I think it just said like vibe coding, like no, and like vibe product managing,
Yeah.
vibe product director or something was the yes. And it was just me like reflecting on how I started coding with AI, and then these days I really don't. I just like product manage a team of agents. I think the post I put on Twitter, I think I said something like, the great thing about these things is that they work at about 100% the speed, and yeah, they're only about like 80 to 90% do what you want and get stuff right, but it's just so quick that you can get like 80% of what you want so quick that you can then, and it's not even like you have to dig into the code to fix it. Like, you can, if you just keep the scope really narrow, you just
Yeah.
talk them through the fix. And like, I really don't look at the code anymore. I learned to code for basically like 12 months,
Yeah.
and then I just stopped. It's nuts. And I
Yeah.
thought like, this really is like the way to use these things. Is that I almost felt like, so the meme was about like, are we like misled a little bit by the term vibe coding? And you feel like for that to be successful, you have to like, it has to be a real good developer.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. I feel like an army of infinitely cheap and quick like mid-level devs is fine.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Well, I'm doing it.
like
so-
that's like, you can get a shitload done.
Yeah.
So, and it was off the back of like, in a day I built Slack
Yeah.
/ Discord. I said, no, maybe not all bits.
Well, it's like functionally there. It's like,
Like the main function
80/20
of
is
just
there.
the channels, the
Yeah.
DMs, the groups, the private groups, like all of that, identity systems, which is
Yeah.
even easier because it was Nostr-based, so plus some task management stuff. So it's got that.
Yeah.
File uploads, sharing, imagery. Like, it doesn't have calls, but I've got a plan for calls that'll be nice and quick and easy and stuff. And I'm just like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like I shouldn't be able to replace like a $20 billion SaaS company in
Yeah,
like
in a day.
in 12 hours of work,
Yeah, yeah.
if that.
Well, I'm
Like,
pretty sure they didn't have calls for a long time as well, in fairness. So
Yeah.
that came later.
true. So like all the base functionality of Slack.
I think so, yeah.
Maybe it was like 8 to 10 hours of work.
Yeah.
I think it was over 2 days duration because I did like a bit one afternoon, and a bit the next morning, and I was like, oh shit.
It's pretty much there. Yeah.
And I got to the end of it, and I'm like, oh right, cool. Now I can make this do like all the stuff that pissed me off about Slack.
Yeah.
I don't have to do it, like any of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't have to worry about them delete my data because it's mine. Like,
Yeah.
I've got like scheduled backups running of the database. Like, I can mirror them. Like, it's all good. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think I'll ever use one of those apps again.
And Slack isn't cheap either.
Yeah.
Like that per seat cost runs up pretty quickly.
Yes.
In a big company. Even in a small company, that's quite a lot of money for comms.
Yeah. Yeah, and it only becomes more useful with more people, so you
Yeah.
kind of have to have everybody in the seat.
Exactly.
And I was just like, all right, this is... I mean, there are open source alternatives to Slack, but they're quite cumbersome to install
janky.
and run and keep up. And like, this thing is super lightweight.
Yeah.
Like, it's very simple. I've got multiple versions of it running. It just runs through a PWA. I can do web notifications through that. So like, I was like, oh shit, I can replace like a lot of chat app functionality with this. Like I remember there was when I was at Sovereign Engineering, there was a team that was there. I won't go into names of anybody, but like I think they'd said like they do all of their stuff through Signal because they feel like they should do everything through Signal. Sort of because it's like nice and private and they can keep access to it, but then you kind of lose, like Signal is for personal messages more than like business stuff, so it is kind of difficult to keep anything persistent or have topics that keep you on channel and stuff. It is kind of nice to have something that you can just onboard people to. I actually think this could just be a really nice business tool for
definitely
for like most Bitcoin based businesses.
Yeah,
and like
I mean there is some value I think to just being able to have some format to your discussions, like this is sales, this is marketing, this is, you know, that delineation is just clean. I think
I mean, even
works
for the two of us, right?
Yeah,
like because when we first started, we were building a lot of bots inside Discord and then inside Slack, and we said, all right, well, let's use that for general communication.
Yeah.
And over time, we just well, why? Let's just use Discord. Like, but it was nice that we had all the AI because this is like back in the days of all the Everest bots, and so we had all these different like Everest themed bots that could do like development inside Discord and so on. And this is like before agents were really a thing, and it was quite useful. Like even just the idea that you could have multiple people talking, with with an agent. So, you know, we could be in a thread and then we asked Everest, as he was called at the time, I guess it'd be Wingman these days, to just pop in and opine on a subject. But like, I mean, I think I said like when we were grabbing coffee, like I already this morning started to use this to capture ideas to myself about the next features that I was putting in. So I was like, ooh, I woke up with like a clear view of how I wanted to do group level encryption in this, which oddly, I guess the you know the DMT machine elves overnight had been busy and like saying like, you know, like, oh, why don't you do it like this? This is like a solid super left curve approach that protects you against the server, but without all the nonsense associated with this that you'd have otherwise. So I was like, you know what, that works. I think I might also do like I might even encrypt all the public data because then we could run this as a SaaS. I don't want to see anyone's data, but if we could do that, Anyway, I don't want to get
digressing.
Sorry, I'm really like into this all of a sudden.
Sure.
There's something like, just go back to that. Sorry, I'll shut up in a second. But like to go back to that like product management thing is that, like it can be a real like pain in the ass being a product manager because it's so long. You can have like a million ideas, but you just have to like ignore them forever because everything takes so long. It is so fucking addictive to go from nothing to MVP in a day, and then to just radically transform it. Like every time you wake up, you're like, oh, I could just fix that whole thing, and then it's fixed like within an hour or by the end of it's so addictive.
That's the key, isn't it? You're working in like tidal loops now. I think
it's all loops. Like I think we've
that feedback
talked
loop
about
dropped.
that on the
probably
many times.
Yeah.
I know this is in like we talked about it with like businesses as well, right? Yeah. It's all loops, all of it. Like everything is about feedback loops.
Like, and this is where like my meme of this would be slightly different. Like I wouldn't use the term product manager because for me that's not necessarily like a native title that I've held, even though like I was essentially product managing, albeit inside of a startup. I didn't give myself that title. I think it's just like a glorious tool for entrepreneurship. It's just like you can build your business, you can build your product, you can build all the tools that help you run the product and the business.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I think maybe this is where sometimes the vernacular gets a little tricky. It's like when everyone likes to use like vibes and vibe coding, people get lost. They fall off that pretty quickly. The negative connotations kick in. Albeit I think they're a bit overblown. Like I actually quite like the term vibe coding personally. You can also alienate like a bunch of people who might otherwise not realize this is useful.
You want something like vibe-preneurship, but that's terrible because you can't pronounce it, but a vibe entrepreneur.
Yeah. I mean, that's essentially what you are doing as an entrepreneur, right? It's essentially vibes.
It's always vibes.
It's
like
always
you
vibes.
Just make it work somehow.
Yeah. And the key there is also like operating in tighter loops. Like if you can shorten the feedback loop, like that's the whole point of like minimum viable products, right? Is to try and get yourself into a position where you're starting to get some sort of haptic feedback from the thing you're building as quickly as possible, so that you can test whether there's something material there that you should continue on. And like, but that's it with these tools. Like you're literally just shortening that feedback loop to what, minutes? It's pretty insane.
No, it's nuts. It's nuts. As I said, like it's I just found it highly addictive. Like it really made me want to engage with the tools and like work on the business. Because all the things that we've, like there's elements of like, say, producing the podcast where I'm like, can have like stuff hacked together in Wingman, but it kind of feels like the wrong place.
Yeah.
Like Wingman feels more like the workhorse where the agent is doing its work, but it's not clear. It's like where, like it doesn't make sense to like put comms into it.
True.
If you know what I mean. Like, because it just like, it's like, well, what does the interface need to do? Like it's starting to get a bit busy at that point. Whereas like starting with marginal gain start, I took our to-do starter app that we use in not marginal gains, in Touch Don't Look, our workshop series. So I'm going to add an online version to that as well. So anybody that listens to the pod, like whoever you are, I've never actually checked any of the stats to see who it might, if I could figure out who it is or where we're big. But like, anyway, if you're listening, like I think I will run maybe towards the end of January a version of this. In fact, no, it won't be the end of January because I might be away. At some point, either January or early Feb, we'll do like an online version that anybody can sign up for. Because I had a few requests for that. But yeah, in that one we like build out this like whole to-do app into many different formats. And so like when I went to do marginal gains, I was like, all right, well that's already got some of our like base stuff around identity and logins and Nostr integration. So let's just take that as a starter, and then flesh that out into this marginal gains product. Or I think I'm going to call it Agora as the open source project for it. Which would be, so that's the Greek place where you used to go to discuss ideas, Plato and Socrates and all that. So I thought it was good.
Nice.
So it's a place for discussion and creation. But it just like worked really well, and like having tasks integrated with it as well. Like the idea that I can now we can be bollocking on about something inside like a thread in like our Slack replacement in Agora, and then you just click the menu and click create task and like add it to a Kanban board. Now it's in your group Kanban board. It's like, all right, now I can track it. Like half my problem with Slack was always just like, this is fine if I'm plugged into like the Slack matrix at this particular point in time. I can see what's going on. But I thought it was a bullshit asynchronous tool because you just lose everything. Yeah. Whereas like if I can just pin it into a Kanban board and I can just switch between the tasks, and like, you know, I couldn't necessarily do that with Trello integration because they're different apps and they don't talk to each other the way I want them to talk. Whereas this one, I can just be like, right, do exactly what I want to run this and just change it. It was almost as if like they had to compete on completely different philosophies. Yeah. You know, it's like we can't have Kanban because that's Trello, and we are like ideologically all about chat. Yeah. To the exclusion of anything else that might be useful, and that's why even the calls came along, because it's still chat. It's just a different mode. So yeah, it's odd because like so much of this stuff, like this was always the bane of my existence using Slack. It was just like I can't remember that thing that was really valuable that we talked about like a week ago. It's just gone. Yeah. I mean, try and use search, but Slack search is bullshit. No, it's horrible. Yeah. Like the search is going to be I need to figure this out, but it's going to be natively a bit shit to start with, because everything's encrypted, so there's no server to index stuff. Yeah. So I'm going to have to I'm going to approach it with client-side indexing. So you'll have like a cache on your local machine, and then that's what you search against. So any messages that you've seen, you can see and search. But I might even talk to somebody that knows what they're doing about that. Yeah. Best way to approach it. But that's sweet. That's what you want, right? You want to have encrypted stuff. Like you want to be able to, you know, if you use this as a SaaS, you don't want somebody just spying on everything you're saying. So I think that makes sense. Yeah. I've got an approach. I mean, talking to a mate about for for super-based.
Yeah.
Where we'll be able to like plug in different backends to it as well. So you could even just, you can run it like inside a SaaS system, keep taking backups daily, and then when you want to go, you just spin up your own infrastructure and you move out, and there's no downtime. It's just now you host it.
Yeah.
It's all fine. Like, so I think that's going to be pretty big as well. But I really like how all this stuff's developing. Like this, I'm like, all right, this is like what I want. Like when I want to sit down and run a business.
Yeah.
This is how I want it to work. Like these are all the tools. Like this is my native comms and messaging platform that natively integrates with my AI agents that build all the stuff and host all the stuff.
Yeah, well, you've also just gone and like removed half a dozen different subscriptions as well. Whatever you're spending on AI potentially also, if you're using Copilot, ChatGPT, those kinds of things.
Yep.
It all adds up really fast.
Yeah.
But I imagine Slack alone, just that per seat cost would be pretty significant for most businesses. So yeah, and then what do you need? You've got a working suite, working toolkit right there.
Yep. I mean, you could probably do like a minimum Google Doc type interface for editing markdowns or something, and then all of a sudden you've got enough for a small business to work on.
Yeah. It's
Man,
good, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, this was always the question mark we had around how do you get people on board into Wingman as well in a way that's kind of like the least amount of friction possible. This feels like a way easier way to get people to actually engage with Wingman as well longer term. It's very sticky.
I'm a fan. So yeah, if you're a listener, Deadman, friend of the pod, he listens.
Yep.
Apparently. Apparently there's other people, which is nice, but I don't know who you are. Sorry. But let us know, and we'll friend of the pod you for the next episode.
There's a South American contingent that I noticed from from Spotify when I was looking recently. So shout out to our South American friends of the pod.
There you go.
Can't quite remember exactly
How
where
would
you
we
were.
say that in Spanish? La friends of the pod. Or something?
Yeah.
Is it El friends of the pod?
Yeah,
No.
El. Yeah.
El friends of the pod.
Yeah. just
El friendo
just insulting
podo.
them with some French.
I'd like, Latin-based derivative languages, so Romance languages, right?
Yeah.
They're all similar. Yeah, I'm not the language guy, unfortunately. I have models for that.
Yes. Yeah, we have help. Should we take the other, explore what the other side of this might look like as well? Because I can just imagine there would be people on Twitter just yelling at us if they were listening.
I won't see it.
No, you need to have experienced engineers here because you're gonna have all sorts of security vulnerabilities that you're seeding into your vibed code, and so you'll just get hacked. You can kind of see all of these comments emerging.
Yeah, okay.
Should we explore this? How would you address that criticism?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've got a good answer for it, in the sense that, for me, I've been a enterprise architect level person for years. Oh, hello, we're recording. Hello. Okay. Sorry, we're in the middle of a podcast. I don't want to say your name, so. Okay. Well, we're gonna keep going.
Okay, I just wanted to say hi.
Okay. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Charity.
Bye.
Okay. Bye. All right. We're recording, so it's good to see you. But just be aware.
Wear your Bitcoin hat.
All right. Anyway, that was distracting. What was I
were we
talking
saying?
about? It was. Oh, you were asking about security stuff. Yeah. So I mean, I've done technical architecture, enterprise architecture work. I've worked with a lot of people that do this stuff. I'm not in any of these things. I'm not really rolling my own crypto, but I'm just designing it in a way where I use good practice approaches to this. Now, not anybody could do that. So you would want access to somebody that understood how to build these things. But I also think that you can take the starter projects and build on those.
Yeah.
And go from there. So even when we do the to-do app in Touch Don't Look, which you follow along and join the newsletter. Go to otherstuff.ai and sign up for the newsletter, because then you'll get notified of the next event that we do. Got a shill. And like even there, like everybody that's building it, like anything they deploy, like is all like, it's all accessed with, public private key cryptography. Like we encrypt everything. Like it's just, well, I think you'd be hard pressed to find more secure starting points for a lot of the apps that we're building. So you just kind of want somebody. Yeah, I think this could be like a nice way of kickstarting vibe coding for people. Is just like people could build like good. Like there's always been like projects where people publish like, oh, here's my Bootstrap template for building a website or whatever. Like that sort of level of just like, all right, here's it's a starter kit, starter pack for your app. Well, as I said, like I took the same starter for the to-do list and just turned it into Slack. Like it's like all the security bits were already there, so I didn't have to rebuild that. And then I just leveraged it into a new app. But it's like that sort of thing. I can see, maybe you pay for that and you say, okay, or there's going to be versions of this open source because we've got one. That's there. So you take something like that and then you move forwards from there. And you just have that thing already implement all of these good security practices. So, I mean, even like, like say the to-do list, I might add this to the to-do list starter, but like you could just encrypt every to-do entry into the database. So even if somebody takes a full copy of your database, they can't get anything because they need your Nostr key, and your Nostr key only exists inside your browser or inside whatever you're using for your key signer. They literally can't steal anything. It's like I don't know. I think there's good security. I don't have a good answer for like how you go from I'm like an entrepreneur to now I've developed this thing. Does it have good security practices? I think you need to get that from somewhere. It's like we used to talk to with back when we were at work, like we talked about like, well, what's the last job that remains? And it was like the highly technical product manager. It was like, it's the person that can kind of talk through the product, but they understand enough technical detail of how it should be built. They don't necessarily do every bit of the hands-on work, and then they'll bring in specialists if you need them. But the one person can almost like talk the thing into existence. So
do you think there's also like an element of people building for themselves, and therefore by virtue of not actually putting this stuff out into the world and trying to distribute it en masse, that it reduces the risk pretty considerably? Again,
that's been a common theme for us, right? Like I think that's true. Like if you're just running this for yourself, like you don't even need to make it accessible on the internet. If it's not accessible on the internet, that goes a long way to solving a lot of problems. Maybe it's just in your office it's accessible on your local network, or maybe you use Tailscale so you can get at it anywhere. That will solve a lot of problems for you. Like, and also like the attack surface of your vibe coded app. Like nobody, like it's insecure, maybe, but nobody is trying to hack you. For the most part. Like I probably do know a bunch of people that probably are getting hacked for stuff.
I think,
but like you're probably not a target. Like people target very large SaaS apps because there's a lot of they talk about like data is the new oil. It's like you might be the oil you get out of a peanut. Like it's just like there's not much.
Not worth it,
There's not much juice for the squeeze here to go and hack your computer. Like whereas if I can just go and hack this company that has now 100,000 people's data on it, okay, well that 100,000 people's data is valuable.
It's reward for
one person's isn't. So it's you have that. I mean, like when I say like don't vibe code yourself a new Bitcoin wallet and store all your money in it. Like like horses for courses. But like I think that's relevant. Like I think your attack surface is less, which is good. Like we should have like lower attack surfaces. Even having something like say Agora, as I said, like there'll be an iteration soon where you can just plug in your own database and just you can use the app but bring your own database to it. And at that point, like I have no database that I would be running necessarily. Your data could be there. I don't know. You wouldn't even know if you were using it. And so I don't know. Like this makes this like the security model like it just changes the whole thing. Like there is no central honeypot of all this data. You have to go and get it from 1,000 different people at once. Like that's way harder. It's not worth it. You might as well just text like.
Exactly.
But then, and as you said, like if it's like 100,000 businesses that all build on the same sort of platform and they all run it independently. Like,
Yeah,
who are you hacking?
exactly.
It's stop putting everything in Microsoft and then being surprised when Microsoft goes down.
Correct. Yeah.
Like, that's the problem, is don't put all the eggs in one basket. Like, if Cloudflare goes down, everybody feels it. Like, if like one local bullshit like managed services provider in West Perth goes down, the internet doesn't notice.
Exactly.
You know, like it might be hard for that company that went down and their 10 clients, but
Yeah.
it's way more robust to have that level of access to stuff and hosting than everybody uses the same thing. So I think it's good. Make local data centers great again.
Yeah.
You know, bring your own
Get behind
databases, like make it simple and easy for people to host things for other people. Make it pluggable. Like, these are all good approaches to rebuilding apps on the internet, and then make everything connect via Nostr. But
Yeah. I mean, if I were to argue against myself, it would be that this is not what most people are doing from a vibe code perspective. They're actually building stuff to distribute en masse. So that's like, I think it will come.
yeah,
I think that will just naturally happen. But for now, people are actually just like trying to speed run the old like startup model and build something, get it out, and that's fine.
look,
But the biggest issue I see is just like API keys on GitHub.
yeah,
That's like the
Yeah.
classic like failure to git ignore, and it all ends up on GitHub. Like, you see that a lot. Like, people just like,
yeah, or not realizing that it's in the history. Even
Yeah.
if it's not in the.
yeah,
It's, oh yeah, no, I changed it afterwards. Like, yeah, but
it's still there.
it's still there. Did you deactivate all the?
Yeah.
Oh, look, I mean, I've done that like a ton of times
Yeah.
as well. Like
Yeah.
early doors. I'm better at it now than I used to be, but you know, you gotta learn.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, just my like commit history now is so good.
Yeah.
Like, I was looking back yesterday over the course of the year, and it start of the year, it was a few scattered entries,
Yeah.
and then by like October, it's just every day. It's good. That's very like, for me, that's like a reward mechanism that works. So yeah, I try to like gamify a few things that way now.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm digressing.
I mean, what's your feel for it then? Do you feel like because I think like me, you got into this thinking like, all right, I'm gonna use this to learn to code.
Yeah.
And you spent more time trying to like be aware of like how it was coding,
How it's working.
stuff.
Yeah.
But would you say it's similar that you like the mode of operation is more like, I don't know, yeah, the entrepreneur running a team of people and
Yeah.
speaking it in, or do you feel like you're still
Completely.
buried in the code?
No.
No, okay.
No, I wouldn't say I was ever really buried in the code. I was just trying to understand like why certain things were being done, and that was just for my own like curiosity more than
Yeah.
anything else. And because the other thing, and maybe this is like another place we can go with this, but like I've not really experimented too much with like running like multiple sub agents and like even things like, you know, agent skills and stuff like that. Like, I'm just not really bothered with this. It's just like raw dogging the like base agent. And yeah, it's easier to follow along and to actually think through what's happening. And yeah, for me that feels like more like you'd be running a team entrepreneurially. It's like you're just reacting in like real time to thoughts and ideas and problems, and yeah, that felt more like a more native way of working. But I still am a bit curious about like why it does certain things. So I like to have an understanding of like, I don't know, structurally what's in the code base, but not necessarily know line by line what's going on. And I certainly couldn't read it to any effective degree. So
Yeah.
but I can like navigate my way through that code base now and go, I understand why this is here and I understand why that's there. And which is like a huge improvement on where I was a year ago. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily think of it as a benefit to actually go and learn how to code, which is probably where I've diverged from the start of this year.
Yeah. Oh, I know on like Wingman, I just did a full refactor across the app, because it was getting slow to load, and it was getting hard to make some changes that I wanted. And I was like, all right, well, I need to go in and just structure this correctly and pull everything apart. And so, but I didn't. It's not like I did it by reading through the code. It was just like we talked through the code and moved bits around, and then now I've got a structure that is more appropriate and I'm more happy with, which is cool.
Yeah.
But it's it's interesting. There's a point you made about raw dogging the agent, which I think is interesting because I do the same. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I feel like in my past, like I've been guilty of this thing where I'll just go like, all right, this week I'm gonna really like nail my like personal productivity system, or something, and I'll spend like a week or two just like changing out my to-do list app, or going from Evernote to Bear to Obsidian to Notes to whatever, like just all these different things, thinking, right, this one's gonna work, this one's gonna do what I want. And then inevitably, like, the thing that I stick best with is just like writing stuff down on paper. So maybe now, like, the marginal gain stuff is useful because it's got Wingman there, and I just tell him to do stuff. So that's kind of cute. But like, it's I don't know, like, there's I make that I bring that up because I feel like this is a little bit analogous to people that will spend an awful lot of time trying to build like the best agent framework, so that they don't have to get involved with the agent. If you know what I mean. Like, it's a kind of like, all right, we do this test, and then we like, I say like this 2 sentences, and then like this guy turns it into like a 100-page script, and then this guy interprets that, and then they argue about it, and then this guy comes in and he builds it, and then this guy comes in and he tests it, and then the first 2 guys come back in and call everyone a cunt, and then we carry on, and it's just like, I'm like, all right, like, and I, there's a big part of me that like really like wants to lean into that, and do it, and I have various times like built a lot of these agents and tried them out, and I have always been left wanting. And for, I think, 2 reasons. Like, one is that like there was just like, these things can be very verbose and they'll create stuff if you give it, but if you're giving it like a 2-sentence input and then expecting it to work, what you're going to get is the quality of those 2 sentences, and everything else you kind of lost control of. So you will lose control like that unless you're doing a lot of work to specify stuff. But you can't specify stuff quicker than it can create stuff. And so for you to then sit down and write a document might take you a week, and then it'll just knock it over in like, I don't know, an hour or 2, and maybe it will be good, but then now your bottleneck is you're spending a week creating this thing. So it's like, all right, so maybe then you use the agents to make the creation quicker, but again, you can't read its output as quick as it can do stuff, and on and on. Like, the thing that I've found is like, look, if I just reduce the scope of the change, I can specify this within about 10 minutes, which is really doable, and I'm in the moment, and it can deliver it in about 5 to 10 minutes, and that's doable, and we're still in the loop, and like, you know, I can take a break, I can go and lift a weight, I can do some painting, I can, you know, get up and make a coffee, and then like, but we're still in the moment. Like, I'm still mentally engaged with whatever you're giving back to me, and like, it's that like tight feedback loop that works. And so I just haven't found the need for the skills and the agents, because that's a bit, to me, it's more like I'm trying to create this thing that works without me, but it will lack all the context of what needs to be built, because that's in me. So I may as well just do smaller things, just aggressively, quickly. But, like,
I agree. About the only thing I will do is like planning mode, but even then, like, I won't always use planning mode. I'll just be like, I'll just start talking to Claude Code and just be like, don't make any changes, just like talk me through how we should address this, and then it just becomes a conversation. But it's good for like when I get stuck, or I get to a point where I'm like, we're going off in 2 different directions here, before we just like completely YOLO one direction. Let me figure out like what the thinking is here. And I find that's quite useful. But again, I'm not even fully like making use of planning mode per se. I'm just like flicking in and out of like conversation.
I found
with the
Claude
one
will
agent.
put itself. I'm back to using Claude these days. Like, it's been good. But like, it will put itself into planning mode. And then come back. But again, like,
that's it.
It's, the difference is that everything's getting done within this like 10 to, I mean, maybe there's a 21-minute limit. You know what I mean? Like, where I need to get through a loop in 21 minutes, otherwise it doesn't work. It's like all this, like, I don't want to spend like 6 hours creating a planning document, because I can't internalize that much stuff. So the task is too big. So just a smaller task.
Yeah.
And then you just chain together so many of these wins. Even if like it's just everything gets better all the time, and you're just like, this is great.
Yeah.
Like, it's just.
I think there's also an incentive to do it that way as well. I mean, the thing that I've noticed is you do just get degradation the more context that you have in a whole over time. So like I'll often just like restart it as well, and then like reframe. Like if I'm going off into a different direction, I'll just be like, okay, instead of getting to a point where this is just going to manually, what is it doing every?
Just manual
compaction. Yeah. Every so often
Compaction?
it'll do. Is that what it is?
Compaction isn't a word.
That's a different word. Compacting. That's the one.
Manual compact.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's.
You all know
Anyway.
what I mean.
No, nobody did. Everybody was thrown. Like everybody at that
like,
time,
what?
they spat out their coffee and they're
Oh,
like, "Compact, what the hell?"
I've
Like,
only just had a little
unsubscribe,
bit of
like,
coffee.
fuck this.
Yeah.
This is
Jesus
like-
Christ.
Anyway,
But you know what? I'll
you try and
I'll basically
clear
just
it out
start from scratch, and
yeah.
instead of starting something new, I'll just go, let's just begin again with a new prompt. And I find that's quite clean as
There's
well.
a lot of research and stuff that would tell you that it's all about context. Like that is the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think I was calling up the stack graph stuff the other day. And I was like, all right, I need to give this a proper run and just get into trying to use this to explore the code base, because all the time that I would spend in the loop of the planning is kind of waiting for the agent to read through all the file systems.
Yeah.
And you kind of know that you're picking up, like, this is why you have to like aggressively refactor all your, because the thing will just create these massive like files and functions with 5,000 lines of code, and it's like, all right, well, every time you read that file, you've now like brought in those 5,000 lines, and this is why it starts to get a bit dodgy and like loses stuff, and the quality goes down. It's like, you know, it would be way easier to just pull like the LSP fed tree of all the functions and data models like in one go and have it clean inside the code model. So I think that makes a lot of sense, but I just haven't really set it up. So I need to set that up and start using it, I think.
I just wonder, like, what's the actual advantage you're trying to get? Like, for me, it seems really marginal to just spin up a bunch of sub-agents. Like, I don't actually know what benefit I'm getting. I don't really need to speed it up much more. You know, like, I feel like it's, like, again, diminishing returns here, because if I speed it up even more, I'm just going to lose control, and I'm going to make mistakes, potentially. So I feel like the pace is actually still 100 times or 1,000 times faster than I could probably otherwise go.
If it's 100x improvement over using humans, do you need it to be
Yeah.
500x? Well,
Maybe. I don't know.
yeah, maybe. It's probably, on the whole, it's probably better to get stuff slightly quicker. But
I have just found it interesting that I haven't necessarily wanted to go and explore that. Like, I keep thinking about it every so often.
When I think about the graph idea, like not the sub-agents, but like the graph piece, I think is interesting, because I think that will lead to better quality.
Yeah.
And I think this will solve, because you just get cleaner context.
Yes.
Like, you can do a lot, like, and I also think it also does speed it up, because then you get, because the problem is just reading all these files just takes a bunch of time. Like, it just seems that, like, seriously, why are we, like, I know we can do it because it's there. It's like left curve and it works. It's to read all the files every time we want to do it, make a change.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the wrong approach. Like, it's not what you, again, if you think about you as a human, you're probably thinking like, oh no, I know where that is. I know I understand the architecture at this level, and I know that I need to like grab one of those, one of those, one of those, and one of those, and I just grab the relevant bits, and then I make the change. But whereas the agent kind of just goes like, all right, read everything.
Yeah.
And then now I've got everything in my mind, and then I try and make a change, and it's just inefficient in the way that I think, yes, it's slower, but I think it probably also just leads to a lot more inconsistencies in the code quality, because you can't just have the information you need. It's not just right. It's never the Goldilocks.
Yeah.
You again, you probably delegate that to sub-agents, and then you would get maybe a cleaner version of the context, but I don't know. I've not seen it work. Like, the thing that works for me is keep the scope very narrow and just move quickly, and it works both like for the AI as a developer, but also me as a manager of the developer, to go like, shit, this is engaging, this is high energy. So
I must say I still do planning docs, but that's usually for my own benefit. I don't tend to feed them into the agent anymore. Again, it's for that like context degradation.
Yeah, I
that
kind
I've
of
noticed
whiteboard
as well.
plan a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Where I'll be like, all right, this is how I'm going to break up the. Like, I know that there's probably like 10 bits to this. I'll break it up like this, and I'll move through in this way, and I'll just make them green as I go. That's
One at a time. Yeah.
That's really useful just to stop forgetting. So I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Again, I think I'll have that inside marginal gains,
Yeah.
and then I can just like spin up a new wingman session from each one of them, which would be nice.
Little Excalibur substitute in.
I'll just have it in the Kanban. And I was like, all right, we're working on this one now. Go, and it'll pull all the information out the thread that we've talked about. That becomes the start point, and then I just jump into the wingman session, coax it through, kill the wingman session, and come back to marginal gains, and it turns green.
Does sound good.
Like, it's kind of it's nice when you go like, all right, this is like, I can just control all this. This is sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Have we answered this question?
Which question? Like vibe product managing?
Yeah. Is it vibe product managing?
I think that's. I think we'll see. I mean, you're not going to get rid of the term vibe coding.
No, I don't think so.
It sounds good.
It's part of the lexicon now.
It's Lindy. It's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I think it's a good term. It's cool. I will still use it.
Yeah.
I think the way to think about it is you're not coding. You're product development. You're doing product management. You're directing. You're an entrepreneur. You're building the business. Like you're just like
all of those things.
Figuring it out as best you can. You know, like it's the same way you wouldn't just like, you know, you don't just like not use a computer. Like, this is the weird thing. It's almost like people are telling you that you're not a developer, therefore you can't use the computer to help you solve this problem, even though there's this new magic that's came along that allows you to do it.
Yeah.
It's like you wouldn't tell somebody like, no, you're not allowed to use Excel because you haven't got an Excel proficiency certificate. Like, which I remember doing one of those in fucking college.
Yeah.
Like, as if like that paid off.
Yeah, I remember having the
certificate or whatever it was.
The manual for Excel. Did you ever pull up? It was like a phone book. It was insane. But yeah, it's interesting though, because this is still like I still feel like even calling it vibe coding is still like right on the edge. Like most people are still just not familiar with this unless they spend all their time on Twitter. Yeah, they're not familiar with this at all. Like I was having dinner the other night with a few friends, and they're all really experienced lawyers, engineers, doctors, you know, and like none of them have heard of coding agents, like at all. Like I was talking about
the
Claude.
agents. Yeah.
No, nothing. Claude Code, Codex, like nothing. It was, I use ChatGPT.
They should come along to touchdown. Look.
Yeah, this is it. But you know, like, it is kind of staggering that we're still. Like the mainstream adoption is just like kind of flatlined it. Yeah, it's ChatGPT is AI, and I'm going to use this for everything. And for most people, like they're at this like this point in their experience where it's just frustrating because it only does so much, and it then feeds them essentially more work to do because they're having to fix mistakes and course correct, and they know other people are using it but not telling anyone about it, and then they've got to, you know, error correct that work, and so it is in some weird way. By being like really general purpose, actually like ruining the experience for a group of people as well. Yeah. So yeah, I still think we're just super early on this. And admittedly, I thought we'd be much further along the adoption curve by now. Like when we were talking earlier in the year in our first few episodes, I just thought this stuff will sweep through much faster.
We were just idiots. Like, I don't know. Like,
there's probably a few people listening going,
yeah. No, I listened to your early episodes. You were just stupid.
Bollocking on.
You know, you're banging on about all this stuff. It's pretty clear you didn't understand. Like, well, I mean, it's one thing that is obvious is that like I'm not using these things in the same way that I did. A year ago.
Totally.
Or even 6 months ago. Where are we now? It's Christmas. Yeah, I remember. I'm probably not too dissimilar to how I was 6 months ago. It's starting to take shape. 3 months ago, like it's been pretty consistent for the last few months. Yeah. But even now, like in just building marginal gains, I'm like, all right, this is going to solve my planning piece. That all my planning is going to happen here now, like from idea capture through to this. Like it never quite made sense to me that Wingman was the tool for that. Yeah. But I was trying to think about ways to hammer it in. Whereas it's like, no, Wingman's going to be the horse. It's the workhorse. and how I talk to it, so that I can, I can go for a walk and it still works, and I can pull it up and do stuff. And it is like, it's interesting. Like I used to carry my laptop around the house, because it might be doing something, and then now it'll be like in a different room, and I just use my phone.
Yeah.
And that's just really nice.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to take it into the kitchen when I'm cooking. I can just use this to just
Yeah.
talk to it.
I mean, part of me also just wonders if the adoption curve flattens at the point at which people's needs are met, because like we are constantly pushing the envelope with this stuff, right? But even what we've just been talking about, like, I mean, certainly from my perspective, I'm like, I just use the main agent. I don't feel the need to use all of these other tools, because this just does everything. It's almost as if like I've plateaued now at this point, even though I feel like I don't feel like I need any kind of model breakthrough just to be like, you know, super productive at all. Like I feel like this is just huge already.
You know who we should get on the pod? We should get friend of the pod, Justin Moon.
Oh yeah.
He's been like the most aggressive like person that I've known with AI. Where like there's a period where there's like 1 week he'd made Zoom. He's like, here's peer-to-peer Zoom, and then like, I think I might work on this, and then he'd turn up the next week and he'd be like, I've made a browser. You're like, what the fuck are you doing? And then you go, all right, so you're focusing on the browser, are you? And he's like, yeah, I've got about 40 agents running on this browser, and they're getting shit done. And I was like, all right, cool. And then like a week later, he's like, I'm also building a phone. And he's like, it's like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, why are you? I don't know if you need to parallel run all these things.
Yeah.
It sounds nuts. But he, again, I think he's using these things to the best of it. It would be interesting because he's also then doing like a bunch of work with like HRF around getting activists to understand that like these are tools that can amplify your output, and you are resource constrained, so you need to be using these only for like fundraising websites and getting your message out and stuff. But it would be interesting to see like what he's doing currently and like where he's at.
Whereas like if you think about it, like the vast majority of people, like certainly the people I was having dinner with, they're used to, and this is not meant in a derogatory way, but they're used to operating within a like essentially like an environment that is like risk off. Like all of those organizations essentially mature to the point where you try to take as much of the operating risk out of the equation as possible. And so like to adopt these tools, it's almost like now we're injecting risk back into the business, which I think is like you should be doing to be pushing the envelope. Certainly, like if you're running the business, you should be thinking about like how do we inject more risk here. But people are used to working that way, so I think you kind of meet those needs like quite quickly with like very basic tools. I
mean, isn't the etymology? I can't remember exactly, but I'm sure the etymology of entrepreneur is something like a man that manages risk or something like that. It's like it's about the risk management component of doing something new, and so I think it does make sense for like small business stuff. Like I think the interesting thing about an existing business is you just go, well, how do I even do this? Because if the bucket of intelligence isn't a human anymore and it's just this minute agent thing, like none of my tools, like none of my processes are built like that. So like from a ground up version, it's just not how anything works in the business natively. None of the tools allow me to plug the agents in. None of the so I think this is why people like navigate to the the person can use ChatGPT as opposed to like, well, the agent may as well have first class access into this. And like, we've done this where we built, I was complaining about this when I'm waiting for the coffee, right? Like I can build a bot inside Slack, I can build a bot inside Signal, I can build a bot inside WhatsApp, I can build a bot inside like in Discord or whatever, but I have so many restrictions on what I can and can't do with that thing. It's scope. Like whereas if I build my own version of Slack, I can do whatever the fuck I want. Like I can make the integration very tight between Wingman and that, because I know I want the two things to work nicely together. So it's.
But this is also why I think like small business owners are actually the right people to be getting
at least.
Well, but their relationship to risk is completely different.
It's true.
So I feel like, early on we used to talk about this as being like a really big opportunity for like traditional service businesses, those big S&P 500 companies that are pretty low margin, they got a lot of people. It's like, actually,
It's always been
I
a
just-
small business. So.
I think they're just like the least likely to do anything with this because the risk constraints are such that you just can't experiment with these
Yep.
tools in any meaningful way. Whereas if you run a small business, you're already like mentally of the view that I want to try everything anyway.
Yeah. I mean, you could be running a gardening shop,
Yeah.
right, as a small business, and that's risky.
Mm.
You know, like,
Yep.
it's just because you don't know if anyone's going to turn up. You don't know
Yeah.
if you can make the rent.
That's it.
You take on a lot of fixed costs, and you got to have stock and stuff. And it's like it can be like what seems from the outside like a boring, humdrum, like normal business that's just full of risk.
Well, finding people was always like one of the big
Yeah.
problems that these
Exactly.
smaller businesses had, and retaining them.
Yeah, your hair is always on fire.
Yeah.
It's like, so you may as well add what's one more flame. What's a haircut when your hair's on fire? Why
That's
not?
it.
Why not get a haircut? It's like, oh, okay, my hair is on fire. Maybe maybe less hair would be good.
Yeah.
But-
I also wonder if you end up with more like rapid tools as well that just solve particular problems for
Absolutely.
people. Which
well,
is
that's
another
what
thing.
we've
like-
done, right?
Yeah.
Like, is, you know, the marginal gains was like, all right, well, we should have like a community space. Like, do we want to use this one and this one's like, I don't like any of them.
Yeah.
Be nice if it was Nostr. There's no good Nostr bit. All right, hang on.
Yeah.
It's like, give me an hour. All right, there's a version. Let's make
It
it do
exists.
exactly what we want there.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
I think this will become the norm, is people are going to just solve their own problem very specifically.
Yeah.
I do also think there will be islands as well, where you solve a problem within a space for like a niche
Yeah.
for that group. Like, you know, we're now building this like network of small businesses in Perth. Like, I don't think they'll always just go out and build their own version of like Agora. I think they'll just use it.
It's exactly right.
They'll be like, oh yeah, this is really good. This does what we need, and we can just talk to you, and you can change it. It's like, yep, that's how software will work from now on. So I think you could be like a good, almost like indie level entrepreneur with like, you know, a Kevin Kelly type thing with 1,000 true fans, and bang,
Sorted.
you're done.
Yeah.
You don't need to go. I don't think everything has to be super wide on the internet. I've never quite liked that idea.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
I think this is like the cottage software developer.
Also more
Very
open
powerful.
source.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's the other like much needed trend that I think will emerge.
Yep.
There was a nice conversation about open source between Tim Ferriss and Bill Gurley a couple
yeah.
weeks back. So that was interesting. That
I
it's
didn't- I
starting
haven't
to like
listened to that
emerge
pod.
into that, into that sphere, because I think I don't tend to hear too many like Silicon Valley guys
No.
talking about it. So
No, they like to close source everything
Yeah.
and sell a big license fee. And
that's it. So I thought it was
I
quite
think it all
interesting.
disappears. Like I think it will change software. Like, I don't know how it can't. Like, as I said, like Slack is a good piece of software. I can make a less secure, but to me better version of Slack. It won't be better to everybody, but it's better to me.
Yeah.
But I also don't have all the problems that come with being a massive company to have to defend it.
Yeah.
So I can make it secure enough for my needs.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, it's pretty fucking secure.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
pretty
it.
happy with how it works. But it's just
As we say, that's
quick,
also
move quick.
it's also philosophy. If you're trying to build something quickly to distribute it out to the masses, like software 2.0, then you're going to run into problems.
Yeah, it's interesting that there is a lot of people that will just want to vibe code up nonsense,
Yeah.
and are quite happy to have other people's data in it. As I'm generally operating from a philosophy of like, I don't even want my own. I don't even want to be able to see my own data on
That's
my
it.
own computer. Like,
Yeah.
I want it to be encrypted, just in case.
Yeah.
And then, I don't want your data, so here's how you take it away from me, sort of thing. Like, I don't want to be responsible for it. It's
Yeah.
yours. And then that's just a different proposition, like when you build stuff like that. So get those people, like go and find Bitcoiners to build your software for you, because they'll start with these principles of like, yeah, I don't want to hold your data or your keys or your thing, and then all of a sudden you actually get software that respects you, as opposed to software that's constantly trying to steal from you, whether it's your data or metadata or whatever. But we don't have to build software like that. That's what's always been so frustrating, is we can bitch and moan about social media, but there's versions of social media that respect you. It's just there's only one of them, and it's called Nostr. I guess like Mastodon, and to an extent It's a bit of like many kingdoms as opposed to you owning your own stuff. And Blue Sky similarly, but they're better than a lot of the legacy stuff, which is out and out just trying to steal from you. If you want to go the full hog, just go Nostr and control it.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's nice not having an algorithm that pushes everything on you. You can look at it when you're interested. You see stuff from people you follow. Then you go, huh, I've finished. I've finished social media for the day. Like, there's nothing else here.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Well, I'll add something. There you go. And then you go away. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to be on it all the time. It's not a fire hose of, death and woe to keep you engaged.
Making everyone else's problems your problems.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, you can have that. You can self-host stuff. You don't even have to self-host stuff. You can just use stuff that respects you as a person. It doesn't have to be Google. You don't have to give all. I mean, email's the weak point because it's so shit. like what was done to email and like how hard it is to just send somebody a fucking message.
Yeah.
But we will solve all this stuff now.
In good time.
In good time.
Yeah. Any reflections for the new year? Well, obviously this will go out on New Year's Day.
Oh yeah, because this is
It's
we're on
New
New
Year's
Year's
Eve.
Eve today. So
Yeah.
the beach is very full, but we did manage to get a good spot, so that's okay. I don't know. I'm excited for the new year.
Yeah.
I feel like this year has been a year of just like transition and thinking.
Yeah.
And being a little bit, experimenting, being a little bit unsure, like personally about like, well, where are we going with like this stuff? There's so much interesting stuff, but it wasn't clicking. I feel like in the last like few months, like everything is just constantly clicking, which feels good.
Yeah.
Like, and I can see how it's going to develop. So that's my sort of personal look at.
Yeah.
I mean, we did predictions last.
We did predictions.
week.
Yeah.
How about yourself? How you feeling?
Yeah, I would say bullish for the tool. Like, as I said, I don't feel like we need any kind of like model breakthrough here at all. Like it's, I think people still, are still waiting for that next big jump, and I'm not convinced we've had anything meaningful since 3.5. Like, it's all kind of worked really well since then.
Yeah.
And that's Sonnet 3.5. Like, I just think it's been good since then. And if it just continued like this again for the rest of the year, I would not have a complaint. And we'd be able to get a shitload of things done. Be hyper productive.
I feel like we're almost figuring out how to use these things.
Yeah.
That
Exactly.
feels like the breakthrough is like, this is how you would use it. Like, and then we get into the level where you can teach somebody else to use it. Once you can get like normal people using it. I mean, the interesting thing about the approach we've taken with the touch don't look right is that like these are just like normal people that have never like touched code in their life, or like the idea of creating an app was just like absurd to a lot of them, and you can teach people to do this.
Yeah. What's interesting is to see people's like creativity come through. Like, once they've crossed that hurdle, there is a little hurdle up front where there's just a lot of information that's coming at them. But once they get comfortable, it takes like 10 minutes. Yeah. And then once they cross that and they start like basically going off piste, there's a bunch of like prompts that we give them, but inevitably people start like going, do you know what? What if I could just do this over here? And once they go off piste, that's it. They're completely hooked. And you do see it, like all the sessions we've done, like this has been the same trend.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, their own kind of like creativity is shining through on the screen. And it's very unique and very personal. And I think that's also where the stickiness comes from, because like, I don't know, how personal is most of the software that we use when it's created for millions of people? It's just, there's no attachment to it at all. Yeah. So I think that's quite special as well. It's like
the re-win amplification of software.
That's it. I think we'll see a bit more of this, certainly through our sessions. So
yeah, like I think it's very bullish. I'm kind of happy with where we're going.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I think we'd call it there. We're about an hour.
All right, that's the good stuff.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.